Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about brain's autopilot mode, the benefits, disadvantages of this autopilot mode, and how we can break the cycle. So what is an autopilot mode? Did you know we have about 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day? And a lot of these thoughts can be either unhelpful, quite negative sometimes. And we go about doing our daily activities, paying no attention, being not aware of these thoughts, often like just being and going through the motion. And our attention is never in the present. We are either thinking about the past, or thinking about this morning, or thinking about this evening, or thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. And for example, driving a car. If you drove a car today, do you remember how you got to your destination? Do you remember turning left? Do you remember stopping at the traffic light? It might just feel like a big blur, and we've all done that. It's because you were on the autopilot mode at that time. I remember once being invited to a friend's new home, only to discover that I arrived at the old home and saw the sold sign. It's because I was in autopilot mode. I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. I wasn't in the present moment. I was just probably thinking about my work, or I was thinking about what I was going to prepare for dinner that evening. So we've all done that. And driving is not just an example of being in an autopilot mode. You know, like for example, brushing our teeth. Waking up in the morning, making that first cup of coffee. We do these things without even thinking about them, being aware of them. Scrolling through our phone, our mobile phone, we often do that just out of habit, just being on an autopilot mode. We sort of scroll on our phone without even thinking about what we are doing and why we are doing it. So we've all done it, and we can all relate to being on an autopilot mode. Being on an autopilot has its advantages. For example, we can go about doing our daily activities without having to think about them too much. You can plan ahead for your day, plan ahead for your different activities that you're going to be doing, and you can do your routine task effectively without having to think about them too much, without having to invest too much emotions or thoughts into doing these activities. So that's okay. But actually, being on an autopilot mode is a little bit like being on a train journey and not knowing where the journey is going to end, where the destination is going to be. And often we arrive at the destination and look at the emotional landscape and realize that it doesn't feel comfortable. It's not what we were looking for. And what I mean here is that when we are not aware of our thoughts, unaware of this autopilot and these 50 to 70,000 thoughts that we have every day, sometimes these thoughts can have an internal negative dialogue within ourselves without our knowledge, and we change from okay emotional state into unhappy emotional state, or anxious or sad emotional state, or even depressed at times, without realizing how we actually got there. So this is the disadvantage of being on an autopilot mode, whereby we are unaware of our thoughts, and before we know, we start to catastrophize them without our knowledge. And that's, a disadvantage of being on autopilot mode. So now let's look at how we can break this cycle of being in an autopilot mode. Science of MRI scan have shown that when we are in autopilot mode, our brain shows hyperactivity in the areas and the regions that are involved in emotions and thoughts. Science call this autopilot mode as default mode network. And depression and anxiety are very much linked to hyperactivity in this area of the brain, whereby the connectivity is so much when emotions are heightened and there is overthinking or rumination that's going on. And there's a lot of research that has been done to understand the impact of being in the present moment and how we can reduce this activation and increase the activation in your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for your logical brain, your rational brain, your practical brain, and also it helps you in emotional regulation. So a lot of research has gone into this, and what the research has indicated is that when we do mindfulness meditation, when we come back to the present moment, when we are more aware of what's going on in the here and now rather than worrying about the future or the past, or even when we talk to a therapist, because because when you talk to a therapist, you become more aware of your thoughts and your negative thoughts and your emotions and your pattern of thinking, and all of this can be very helpful in deactivating the hyperactivity into this default mode network, or reducing the activity into your emotional center, which is your amygdala. Gradually, by becoming more and more aware of the present moment, your prefrontal cortex, or your rational brain, becomes more active and even stronger as a result of that. So present moment awareness, mindfulness meditation, talking to a therapist, becoming aware of your thoughts and getting off that autopilot mode train is really beneficial in managing your thoughts and emotions, especially the unhelpful and the negative thoughts and emotions. So if you'd like to practice mindfulness meditation, I've got some videos on my YouTube channel and they'll be on my website as well. If you enjoyed this video or you found it useful, please feel free to share it with your friends. And I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel, as I'm hoping to make more videos like this. I will also have some free resources available for you. So if you can send your email or subscribe, I'll be able to do so. And if you'd like me to make more videos like this on psychology or well-being, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Thank you for watching.